Good day, everyone. My name is Marty Janicio and also presenter Julius Del Rosario. We will tackle about the oil and gas exploration, refineries, and ATC.
The challenge for the oil and gas industry is to identify and apply solutions that help to increase productivity of existing and future assets with more value for their investment, yet highest HSSE standards. As a leading supplier covering the entire oil and gas value chain, Siemens is in a prime position to support the industry in all areas. Our space-saving electrification, power generation, compression, and water treatment solutions for offshore excel in high availability and low operation costs. With Comos Walk Inside, we use a 3D representation of the offshore production system to train our workforce even before the offshore vessels are operational, to ensure optimum productivity from day one and minimize training cost. The future of oil and gas recovery involves accessing increasingly complex reserves in deep and ultra-deep waters of up to 3,000 meters, with water pressures of up to 300 bar.
And the biggest challenge is that none of the components are, of course, qualified for 300 bars. So we have to qualify them ourselves. And that we do here in this lab, and we do it in close connection to our partner.
Siemens is in the process of marinizing further modules of the subsea power grid, and the latest innovation is a newly designed subsea grid that enables the control of large-scale subsea production. For compression applications, such as depletion or pipeline compression, we offer a comprehensive portfolio for all requirements, including the largest compressor ever built.
What is the oil and gas industry overview? Oil and the natural gas are major industry in the energy market and play influential role in the global economy. As the world primary fuel source, the process and system involved in this distributing oil and gas are highly complex, capital intensive, and require state-of-the-art technology. What are the four main products of oil refineries? Process description. The major products of oil refining are LPG, gasoline, diesel, jet fuel, fuel oil, and kerosene. A blend of several different streams produced by the various refinery process to meet final specifications.
This project was started because we are facing with declining pressures in the gas field. Our experience with Siemens was very good. We had an open communication and it was trustful and so it was a very good project.
However, depending on the individual application, an all-electric approach can offer substantially higher efficiency. For example, in mid-size LNG.
First of all, I mean, we knew or we heard that at that time Siemens were developing the market for the LNG industry, for their compressors and the all-electric drive, and we saw this as a fantastic opportunity.
We're moving from about 32% efficiencies up to about 46% efficiencies for these plants, so there was really no choice, if you think about it, but to go for the all-electric.
For petrochemical plants and refineries, Siemens offers Dresser-Rand's extensive line of reciprocating compressors, centrifugal compressors, and steam turbines that can claim an outstanding record for performance, efficiency, reliability, and low cost of ownership in the most demanding applications.
Siemens is a long-term cooperation partner for BP Lingen. Besides top standards in terms of quality, we expect an efficient service and an unconditional support for the BP Lingen safety culture. Siemens quality was demonstrated again during our recent refinery turnaround.
Putting electrification, automation, and digitalization to work, we open new horizons for the oil and gas industry.
What is an oil refinery? An oil refinery is an industrial plant that transforms of refined crude oil into various usable petroleum products, such as diesel, gasoline, and heating oil like kerosene oil. Refineries essentially serve as a second stage in the crude oil production process, following the actual extraction of crude oil upstream and refinery service are considered to be a downstream segment of the oil and gas industry. Understanding oil refineries. Oil refineries serve as important role in the production of transportation and other fuel. The crude oil component, once separated, can be sold to different industry. For a broad range of purpose, lubricant can be sold industrial plant immediately after distillation, but other products require more refining before reaching the final user major. Refineries have the capacity to process hundreds of thousands barrels of crude oil daily. Process of oil and gas exploration and production. Oil and gas exploration and production process. Many residents in western North Dakota are familiar with the process of petroleum, oil, and gas exploration and production. However, the nation's use of energy and advancing production technology have produced an upsurge in exploration in the new area of North Dakota. The residents are not familiar with the process. Being aware of the steps involved in exploration for finding and eventually producing oil and or gas will aid in understanding the need for some of the provincial mineral owner may wish to include in a mineral list for their benefits of production. The refining process begins with crude oil. Crude oil is unrefined liquid petroleum. Crude oil is composed of thousands of different chemical compounds called hydrocarbon, all with different boiling point science, combined with an infrastructure of pipeline, refineries, and transportation system, enable crude oil to be transformed into useful and affordable products.
From the outside, an oil refinery looks like a small city. A city composed of pipes, tanks, and towers. But if you went inside, you might be surprised to find one of the most technologically advanced industries in the United States. Here, engineers and scientists have figured out how to turn raw crude oil into the valuable fuels, lubricants, and components we need to make millions of products. Refining begins with a process called distilling. After oil is superheated, it becomes vapor. The vapor is fed into the distillation unit. As it rises and cools, the vapor turns back into a liquid. Using stacks of trays, the liquid is easily collected and separated by weight. The lighter and medium weight liquids require less processing before they're ready to be used in cars and trucks. The heavier liquids need more processing to become useful. A process called cracking is used to maximize the usefulness of heavy oil. Heavy oil has long strings of carbon and hydrogen molecules. Using a catalyst, these molecules can be broken into smaller chains, transforming the heavy oil into lighter, more valuable fluids. Reforming is a process that increases the amount of gasoline produced from crude oil. One of the products separated in the
Refining turns crude oil into the usable products. Petroleum refining separates crude oil into the components used for the variety of purposes. The crude oil, petroleum is heated and hot gases are passed into the bottom of the distillation column. As the gases move up at the height of the column, the gases cool below and their boiling points and condense into the liquid. The liquid are then drawn off the distilling column specific height to the obtained fuel like gasoline, jet fuel, and diesel fuel. The oil and gas industry is undergoing a transformation as it grapples with attracting new investors, a lack of pipeline infrastructures, competition from the other energy sources, political pressures, relative lower commodity prices, and impetus demands for reduced carbon emissions. A political pressure is a concern over climate change gain pace. Further institutional funding cuts ensure the investment from fossil fuel project inspected on September 23 around one-third International Bank of UN's Climate Action Summit in the New York committed to decreasing the support investments in the oil and gas sectors in coming years, promoting renewable instead. Refinery processes. Crude oil refineries employ some of the United States' top scientists, engineers, and safety professionals to ensure the products are produced efficiently and safely. In U.S. refineries produce about 17 million barrels of crude oil a day. Refinery configuration body but U.S. refineries are undeniably some of the world's most sophisticated. Distilling, much like a simple still, its distilling column liquid is heated to the vapor and lifted upward to the distilled, again into the separate substances. This is the beginning of the refining process. Distilling exploits the characteristic of the chemical into the crude oil to the boil different temperature. A phenomenal engineer's chart along distillation curve, unlike the still distilling column, contains a set of trays to allow heated vapors to rise collect at the different levels, separating out the various liquid derived from the crude oil. We talk about cracking. Cracking because there is more demand for some distilled products like gasoline. Refineries have an incentive to convert heavy liquid into the lighter liquid. The terms of cracking comes from the process of breaking up long hydrocarbon molecules into the smaller, more useful molecules. The cracking process converts heavy straight-trans liquid into the gasoline.
Process is a liquid called naphtha. The number of carbon atoms in naphtha is about the same as the number found in gasoline, but their structure is more complex. Reforming rearranges the naphtha molecule, turning it into a usable gasoline-like molecule. Blending is a process of mixing different refinery products to make finished petroleum fuels. Gasoline, for example, is blended to achieve octane standards, creating the grades of gasoline you see at the pump: regular, mid-grade, and premium, that are necessary to meet the needs of specific engine types. Treating is a process used to produce cleaner gasoline, which helps protect both the environment and our health. Gasoline molecules contain impurities like sulfur that can be removed. When the molecules are heated and come in contact with a special catalyst, a chemical reaction occurs that strips the sulfur away. These sulfur compounds are used as fertilizers and in pharmaceuticals. Nothing goes to waste in a refinery. In fact, by expanding existing refineries and improving their efficiency, we've increased production of refined products by more than 40% since the 1970s. So the next time you drive by a refinery, think about the scientists and engineers who are helping to efficiently transform raw crude oil into the fuels and products we use every day. Their innovative work helps keep prices low for the many things we use in our daily lives. And think about how refining, like other types of manufacturing, supports entire communities. Put it all together, and you'll see how refineries keep America moving.
Reforming the process of reforming was developed to raise from the quality of volume of gasoline produced by refiners. Using as a catalyst again after a series of reforming process substances are converted into the aromatics and isomers, which have a much higher contained numbers the paraffins and naphthenes produced by other refiners processes. Mostly reforming rearranged the naphtha hydrocarbon to create gasoline. The also refinery services. Oil refining is a purely downstream function, although many of the companies doing it have midstream and even upstream production. Oil refineries safety. Oil refineries can be dangerous places to work at times. For example, in 2005, there was a accident of BP Texas City of refineries. According to the U.S. Chemical Safety Board, a series of explosions occurred during the restarting of the hydrocarbon isomerization unit. 15 workers were killed and 180 others were injured. The explosion occurred when the distillation tower flooded with the hydrocarbon bonds and was over pressures, causing geyser like the lyrics of the vents